Hello. This is either going to be an historic day or an epic failure day. Okay, so I gave it a try. We'll see what happens. If there is something at the end of this video, it worked. If there's nothing at the end of this video, it didn't work and it was an epic failure. So you'll have to stay tuned to see if it worked, because I don't know if it worked yet. Okay, guess enough. We are doing Anne Perry, A Question of Betrayal. And please hit the like and subscribe to let me know I'm doing a good job. It's just me reading books and talking about books. I have no special effects. I have no theme song. I have no introduction banner. I am just simple little me. There are so many others out there that are so sophisticated and they've got it going. They got their little theme music and they got their characters and they got all this stuff. It's so amazing to hold all your attention. Me, I got me and the computer. That's it. It's just me and the computer. Reading books, talking books. That's it. I have no other talent. Well, I can sign a little. I can do a wiggle. Just a wiggle. Oh, and this is the Deluise Book Series channel, and I'm Kristina, Kristina. And I need your like and support to support my channel because, like I said, I got nothing. It's just me talking books. And this spurred me on. I'm binge reading this series, so you'll probably see all 5 books this week. And if I can ever find the other, Matt and Tim or something, I'll have to look it up. I may, some of those started in the 90s. I don't know if I can get the beginnings. Sometimes it's hard. That's the worst thing. When you find a good series, trying to find book one's trying to find a needle in a haystack. Good Lord. And I'm from New York. Okay. Shall we get started here? Anne Perry, A Question of Betrayal. You all know from the first book, Elena Standish is a photographer, and her sister is Margaret Driscoll, and Charles is her father, but her grandfather, Lucas Standish, was the former head of MI6. You know, Mr. Tom Cruise, Mission Impossible, all those cool movies. I would not want to be in that situation in real life. Hell no! And Charles has a wife, Catherine, and Peter Howard is the MI6 operative. And Aiden Schroeder is the former boyfriend that was supposedly listed as a traitor. Him and Elena were going to be married, but then when he was listed as a traitor and vanished, she thought that was the end of him. And then, of course, the stuff with Ian last book. But anyway, so after her trip in Berlin and her success in that trip, or sort of success, I guess you want to say, Peter comes to Elena and says, "Hey, I got a mission for you, and you're the best one to handle it. You know why? Because it involves your boyfriend, or your ex-boyfriend, or your ex-fiancé. So, and because you would be the only one to be able to recognize him in any disguise he has, you have to go. It's you." So she goes because Max had a point of, not Max, Aiden had a point of contact, and his point of contact just disappeared. And you're blocking my notes. And Jerome Bradley is the new head of MI6. And Peter goes to meet with Lucas Standish and goes, "Look, I got a confession. I sent your daughter on this secret mission, your granddaughter on this secret mission a couple days ago. And I was going to wait till she was completely out of town to tell you because I didn't want you to get all upset and I didn't want her to be able to tell you stuff. So then Lucas and his wife Josephine have dinner with Charles and his wife and Margot. And it's a little, Charles is a little, he's got his head in his hand. You know, the whole United States, these books take place in the 30s, in the little upper 30s. And I want to know why, and we'll probably never know because it's all in that top secret file information and they don't want to admit it. They don't want to egg on their face and all that kind of stuff. But we had our head in the sand, and that is horrible because millions and millions and millions and millions of people died. There are some things, like if I couldn't go back for personal reasons, like there's a gazillion things that I would love to change personally. I mean, be more successful, do this degree instead of that degree, the whole 9 yards. But if there was some historical events, I would go to the Titanic and go, hey, you might hit this ice. Don't move. Hit it. If you can't avoid it, hit it straight. Don't move. Because if you move, you're going to scrape the entire side of your boat and it's going to flood everything and you're going to go down. So you got to stay straight. I would go to the Jewish people in Germany and go, get out! They probably wouldn't believe me, but I'd do it anyway. And Pearl Harbor, get out! And 9/11. Don't go into Manhattan on this day. Just don't. Don't fly on that day either. Oh, good God. So those are my wishes. If I couldn't change it, I'd rather go back and change my personal life and change a whole bunch of stuff way back when. But, because the regrets are higher than the Empire State Building. But if you could change a few historicals and some other stuff in the past, but those would be the big few that you could really change. And Charles has got his head in the sand, and Charles bothers me. He's got this father who knows it, who's in it, and Charles' head is still in the sand. He still wants to avoid war. So, and Margaret herself goes to Germany for a wedding. And the whole thing is just like, gives me the creeps 6 ways to Sunday. And we'll get into that in a little bit. But it gives me the creeps of who Cecilia's spouse is, or potential spouse. Because that just gives me the creeps. Because I don't understand how these people did what they did and slept at night. I just don't. And there are some things going on today that I still don't know how people sleep at night. But anyways, back to the book. So Margaret goes to Germany, and that whole wedding situation is just creepy. It's just creepy. Then Elena finds Aiden. He's got a new name now, Anton, and he's got a girlfriend, Gabrielle, who later turns out is just another agent. So then Gladstone Canning goes to see Lucas. He's a very old gentleman who is very, 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 very good with numbers. And he tells Lucas that there is some money laundering going on through MI6. But Lucas is the only one he can trust with this information. So then Peter meets with Bradley, the head of MI6, and says, oh, by the way, I sent unanimous unknown person to go get Aiden. And he doesn't know what's going on yet. Then he receives word that he receives a one-word telegram from Elena going, contact. That means she found Aiden. And Peter tells Lucas that Elena made contact with him, a limited contact, but a contact, so he knows she's still alive. Margaret goes to the wedding with Celia, and like I said, it just gives me the creeps, absolute creeps. Elena meets with Aiden. Then Margaret has a meeting with Cicely's dad, Cordell. Remember, he was the guy that sort of, kind of screwed Elena in the first book. And I don't trust him 6 ways to Sunday either. And Margaret is like, how could you do this? You're letting your daughter marry XYZ, and he's going to do some really, if history is right, he's literally going to be responsible for killing millions. But he's like, well, my daughter is in love with him. Oh, good grief. And they figure by marrying her to such a monster that she'll be saved. Don't know. So, Cicely's wedding day, and Cordell, tells Margaret he knows it's wrong, but it's better the devil you know than the devil you don't, I guess. I don't know. It's just, ugh. And all I want to scream is, no, Margaret, get out. Everybody get out. Just leave Germany. Come back in about 20 years. But just leave. Just leave now. Especially if you're Jewish or anything else. Just get out. Come to the United States. All right. They may not treat you. I've heard stories about, discrimination and all that kind of stuff. You should see it today. But still, it's just, you'd be alive. And I just so that was just and the guy was going to be in charge of Dachau. So that's why I was like, ah. Good grief, how could she marry that guy? So then the police come to tell Lucas that Gladstone Canning has died. And they just decide that he's died of natural causes. Well, upon further investigation, Lucas and Josephine discovered that no, he was murdered, but it was set up to look like natural circumstances. It was set up to look like he had a heart attack and fell down the stairs. And that's how he got that big, huge, massive bump that was caused by the shovel that's out in the shed. Then Aiden is with Elena, and she delivers her message that, Max is missing, and that he needs to leave, but he's just like, we got to do this first before we can leave. And he learns that that Gabriel's not really a girlfriend, that she's just an agent. And Margaret hears a whole bunch of very, very disturbing things at the wedding breakfast the next day, and it's just creepy. It's just like, get out, just get out. So then Aiden takes Elena to Gabriel's, and she seems she was only a pretend girlfriend, and she was not the real thing, and she has a 4-year-old son, Franz. And they attend a social gathering, and a man, Ferdy, comes in and claims that Aiden is a traitor, and things get nasty, and the guy pulls a gun, and Elena breaks a bottle, and they get away. So, Major Bush told her a story about her possible deceased. Margaret meets this guy at the wedding, who tells her this story about, it might be her husband, it might not be her husband, but it was how he heroically saved some people the day he died. So that made her feel better. So Elena and Aiden escaped the club. Once they were free of the club, they decide to look one final time for Max, and then before leaving for London. They find someone watching them, and they separate to lose the trail. Then they discover that Max is deceased, and now they decide to go home. Now, you're going to have to read the book to find out what happens. Well, all right, I can go a little bit more. So Elena visits Gabrielle, and Aiden interrupts the visit and says that they must leave immediately. There's an uprising occurring. Someone tries to kill Aiden as they attempt to flee, and Fruity gets killed instead. Lucas and Josephine search Miss Stoney's house, and they discover clues to what he was investigating and who his prime suspect was. And this James Bond stuff is just scary. Would you want to do this stuff in real life? I mean, come on. In the movies, you know it's going to work and everything's going to turn out okay. But real life doesn't often turn out okay. They always tell you real life is cruel. So then after they find the evidence and Lucas goes to confront the person, and I'm screaming, "Are you an idiot? You don't go confront the guy, you get the cops." And but there's also a huge twisty turn again. This Anne Perry, man, she when you think things are going right, she throws in this big twist. And she's like, "No, I got a surprise for you." And there are several surprises. And then, after those twisty turns at the end, because there's like 3 or 4 twisty turns at the end that like twist the story and go, no, I had you fooled. You thought they were going to be safe. No! We end at a cliffhanger. So you know where I'm going, the next book. As soon as I can get this miracle, or not miracle, to work. Because I'm pretty sure it's not going to work. But I'm going to try it anyway. And we'll see what happens. So don't forget, Boggle 6:45 weekdays, unless of course I end up giving up because no one has shown up in 10 days. I think I might hang up the jacket there. Fridays is Star Trek Next Generation Day, and we are getting into the end of season 3, beginning of season 4, Leclutus and the Borg. And it will take me 12 hours to go through Picard, Star Trek Next Generation, the best of both worlds. So that's going to be 2 episodes, and it's going to take me 3 or 4 days to go through it. I'm serious. I will sit there and go through each scene and make my notes on each scene. It's going to be a long one. So please check that out. Oh, and I started a new series yesterday, Flashback Monday. I get my Romantic Times Review magazine out, and I see if I still have all the books that I bought in that month, in that year, and talk about them. So please hit the like and subscribe. Let me know I'm doing a good job. I just talk books. I read series books. I like to read about the character progression from book to book to book. And I need your support because I have no fancy schmancy stuff going on. Although I'm going to try something fancy schmancy today, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to work, but I'm going to give it a try. So if I get it, please hit the thumbs up, like, and subscribe. Please. I need your support. And Anne Perry, A Question of Betrayal. Oh my God. I ran through this so fast. It was like 2.5 hours. Like, boom. It was so good. It's good when a book takes you in. So check it out. Please like and subscribe. Thank you, and hope for a miracle. Fingers crossed.